Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Pint Live. We are here to talk about all things West Ham, and it's going to be a bit of a therapeutic one. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be some grim discussions going on here. There is a big podcast that came out this week talking about what relegation would mean for West Ham. And it don't sound good. So we're going to break it down, some of the key points that came out of that conversation and give our opinion. We're obviously going to talk about the huge Arsenal game on Sunday, absolutely massive, and some of the rumours about potential investment / takeover from Amanda Stevely. Lots to talk about, lads. But yeah, good to see you.
And you, mate.
Yeah, and you, mate. Yeah, glad it's Friday. Been a long week. To be honest, I'm not looking forward to the weekend. Well, tomorrow I am, but not Sunday. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, just need to. We've got a lot of stuff to go through tonight, as you said.
No, that's it, mate. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm the same. Sunday's going to be a bit for you. Got a nice day tomorrow. It's my littlest boy's birthday tomorrow, so that's good.
Well,
so
happy birthday!
Cheers, mate. I'll pass it on when he wakes up. But yeah, no, Sunday's.
He'll be like,
listen, he's a cheeky little chappy, so he'll like the fact that you said it, mate. So yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, Sunday's. I don't know what to think of Sunday, mate. I tell you, I know we'll get to that later, but
yeah.
Looking forward to Sunday.
Well, this is the thing. Like, it goes. It sort of all ties together, really, because obviously Sunday is a big first step in that last three games of what could be our fate of staying up. And talking about it, Christian Perslow and Henry Winter. Henry Winter is, I think, one of the better journalists out there. Like, he covers West Ham quite a lot, and he seems to really get West Ham. Like, a lot of the stuff that he says, he almost sounds like a fan that's not a fan, like out of a journalist. Like, a lot of the stuff he comes out with is pretty spot on. And Christian Perslow, he's been like board member for many clubs such as Liverpool, I think Villa he's been on the board at. So they did a podcast, really great podcast. And look, after this, if you ain't seen it, I recommend checking it out. But it was on the Football Boardroom, and it was what relegation would mean for West Ham. And for the most part, what it would mean is would be, I think, the crux of it is finances, right? Financially, we would be in a much worse place, which makes sense. TV revenue would be massively down. Attendances would be massively down. The actual price of tickets would be down. So sponsorships as well, what we would get for sponsorships would be down. And there would be a need to find cash flow. That's the big issue, because and I'll try and get the figures. But yeah, apparently, I think it was 90 to 100 million of our turnover could be gone, which creates a massive disparity in what we bring in and what we put out. So we would have to try and stump that up. And from what they're saying, through player sales and things like that, the most we could do, say it's around 120 million, is stump up, is make a 50 mil difference. So listen, we'll break it down bit by bit, but I don't want to just talk at you guys for ages. But just that initial, looking at it, guys, like, we've already heard the club's sort of in a mess financially as it is, and even if we stay up, to go down to all them losses, guys, it's concerning.
I remember saying it a few months ago that I said if relegation could kill this club. Even if we, as you said, even if we stay up, there is going to be we are going to have to sell some of our assets next season, our most important players. So whatever league we're in, it's going to be a struggle and it's going to be shit. But we need to stay in the Premier League. The more I'm thinking about it, like with relegation, is that, like, there's a little part of me that thinks, do you know what? I won't even mind it in the Championship. I won't mind going down, having a clear out and that. But then when you hear like all the financial things and that, you think relegation could kill this football club. Like, so it's it's a difficult one. It's hard to listen to because you think this time 3 years ago we was all getting ready to go to Prague, looking forward to a final, and you think 3 years later we're in that position, and it reminds me a lot of Leicester City. Leicester City 10 years ago won the Premier League, and look at them now; they're in League One. So we've got the potential to probably be another Leicester City the way we're going as a football club, unless something drastic happens and we get someone come in and buy out Sullivan and take over this football club. But yeah, it's worrying times ahead for this football club on and off the pitch.
Yeah, I think the main point when you look at it is that the revenue loss that we're going to have is one of two things. Like I said, massive player sales, selling your top, because West Ham don't have no assets. Do you know what I mean? It is player sales and that's it, and making sure you get good money for the players that you bought, which we know historically. Buying a player, he scrimps and saves, but selling a player, he's 10 times worse than he's trying to buy a player, Sullivan. So,
we being in the Championship and selling the player, Scott, will be 20 times worse.
Exactly. And I think the key focus on what I took from what they were saying on the podcast was the fact that there is another way where they invest their own money. And
this was it. And apparently they're very reluctant to do so.
Exactly. So, and that's
so their first thing, and I'll hand the baton back to you, Scott, just to piggyback on what you're saying, is what they were saying is they're reluctant to do it. So before they consider putting in their own money, they're basically going to sell all the sellable assets in terms of players they can. And then if there is a gap left that needs to be plugged, they'll plug it, which sums it up completely of how little care that they have, because you would think, before we sell, let's see what we can invest to get us back up. So sorry, Scott, back to you, mate.
Yeah, no, and that's the key point, mate. They said, there's two plans, and it seems plan A is the plan to offload as many players as possible, which for me is absolutely ridiculous. Because yes, I get you can't have players on high wages in the Championship. I get that. But that's then your fault for negotiating the deals in the club in the situation it was going into.
What else came out, Scott, in that, which is probably because we hear it, is they probably, and we'd be idiots if we don't, have relegation clauses in the contract. So everyone's contracts wages should cut 50% anyway.
Yep.
Really.
And I think most clubs do that, don't they? Even the top clubs do them sort of deals with their players. So it'd be
apparently the Spurs players
it wouldn't surprise me if we haven't got them clauses in, to be honest, the way we do deals at our football club.
No. The key thing for me is I get, selling the assets, selling the better players, lowering the wage bill. I sort of get that, because even if players do take a 50% cut, you're still losing a large income revenue with the less money, the less sponsorship, the less match day tickets and the like. But surely if you're running a business and that business is not doing too great, you invest a bit of money. It's not like football's not a business where you invest money in it and you're going to go kaput. Do you know what I mean? If it don't work, football's a business where if you invest a bit of money, it normally gets you out of trouble. You can normally survive. And in a way, they invested a little bit of money, revenue-wise, in signing players in January when they should have realistically gone out and invested a lot more.
Well, again, not their own money, though, Scott.
And this is the problem. This is when they should have been. Too many clubs in the Premier League get away with this loophole in the financial fair play thing. You see in the EFL, if you drop down to the EFL, there are a lot more on it with clubs violating the breaches in the financial fair play or the PSL, whatever you class it as. And surely in your head, if you had an inkling that this may happen, that you may go down, you look at it, well, we can get around things better in the Premier League than we could if we dropped down. And it would make more of a return investment to invest more money in January of your own money to keep you as a Premier League football club than it would be to go down and then try and do it that way. It's a bit, for me, it's a bit crazy. I don't know the ins and outs of the finance of it, but this is what I'm picking up after watching that podcast.
What do you think, Ryan, about the idea of them as a last resort investing their own money, putting their hand in their pocket, rather than maybe let's try and plug holes and then maybe sell what we have to and try and keep. Because I look at when Villa went down, they kept Jack Grealish. When Leeds went down, they kept Somerville and a lot of players. But it seems like we're going to have just a massive clear out, really.
Yeah, the thing is, look, if Sullivan's looking to sell, he wants to get out with as much money as he can. So if he can sell these players, I mean, realistically, you got to look around the squad and who's going to bring in money. I mean, Bowen, I'll be honest, I think even if we go down, I think Bowen will stay for one season at least. You'll get money for Somerville. Fernandez is probably a big one. You'll get some money for Kilman. We probably won't get back what we paid for him. But yeah, I mean, going back to your question, I mean, them investing their own money, I mean, you'd like to think they would, but I just don't think they will. I really don't.
No, that's the problem.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I mean, if they did have any ounce of love for this football club, you think that they would, but it's always been a business for them. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just even just thinking about it now, because I know the position we're in now, but if we do somehow stay up this season in the Premier League, there's a lot to build on with that team because we've seen signs over it.
Yeah.
So, and for us to go down, it would just, to lose some of them players, like, as I said, I listed some there. Somerville will go, Fernandez will go, Diouf will probably go, Wan-Bissaka.
I think he alluded to that he would, in the calculations that he made, or he was talking about, 8 first team players would have to be sold to balance the books.
Yeah,
I think Bowen would be one they sell. I think
I think with Bowen, personally, I think he'd want to stay. I think he would. Whether if the club are accepting bids for him, he's got no choice. Yeah. But I think deep down, if you said to Bowen, "Look, do you want to stay?" I think he would. I think he loves this football club. If there's not many players I look at in that pitch and think they actually love this football club. Yeah. But I think
I did see a report. There was a report, right? Again, a lot of it's rumor, so don't take it as gospel. But a lot of people reported that it said Bowen will be willing to stay if West Ham avoid relegation, right? Which sort of insinuates he would go. And listen, if we went down, I'd be in two minds, like, because part of it is, well, you're the captain when we get relegated. Like, you should want to stay and get us out of it. But at the same time, he's 30 years old, you know, ahead of the World Cup, ahead of it, you know, maybe he's got Euros in him and he maybe wants to play at the highest level towards the end of his career. Do you know what I mean? Make as much money, try and win something again. So part of me wouldn't blame him. Part of me would feel like, come on, mate.
I do get that. I mean, the thing is with Bowen, I think he's so settled here. Obviously, he's got his family here, his kids. So if he was going to go anywhere, it probably would be to another London team. And God forbid he ever went Spurs, which I don't think he would.
I've had all their fans saying that he's there, that they think he's going to go there.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Where does Bowen go?
Liverpool's tailor-made for him, to be honest with you, in terms of a team.
It's not. Chelsea are not going to take him. Arsenal are not going to take him. You know,
I'll be honest though, Scott. If any London club, I could see him at Chelsea. I could see them paying the money, and I think
he doesn't fit their model.
That's the thing. But the problem is for them, their model needs to change because their model has been massively unsuccessful. So they've had all the protests. So for them to continue their model, like, it would be a smart buy because they need some of that. Not that I'm trying to pitch him to Chelsea, but I think if Liverpool did come in for him, I think as much as he is settled in London, I think that would be a tempting move. And the fact that they're saying, right, you're our guy, you're the Salah replacement, you're the guy that's going to be there on the right wing, our main man. I think that would be tempting for him. And I think if they come in and the club accepted a bid, I think he'll go. And that's the issue, is that we look at it and you're going to have struggle to find what players are actually still going to be in next season.
Yeah.
You know, even someone like Souček, right? And I think Souček loves the club. And I think if they pressed him and said, we want to keep you, he would stay. But Moyes will come in for him at Everton. Yeah. And I think that would be a massively tempting offer for Souček even.
I think you just said the right man there. I could see if Bowen was going to go anywhere, I could see maybe Everton, especially if they get in Europe.
Yeah. The thing is, someone said there, the comment just popped up there. Bowen's tailor-made for Villa. That is, for me, what he's just said there. That's the perfect thing.
I don't think there's many teams in the Premier League. I mean, barring probably Arsenal and City that Bowen wouldn't fit into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's be real. Us in the Championship, everyone's a step up from us. You know what I mean? Like every team, Coventry is a step up from West Ham because we'll be in the Championship. Not that he'll be bending over backwards to go Coventry, but he's going to have options, and that's the thing. And I look at it, and you think Bowen. You said Somerville, Fernandez, Tati, and Pablo. I wouldn't be surprised if they're offloaded. You know what I mean? Wilson will be gone. Disarcy won't be here. Souček, like I said, could.
I don't think Wilson will be gone down. I think Wilson's the whole reason they tied down Wilson to another year was to keep him for the Championship.
Maybe.
I don't see any reason why.
There's been a lot of talk that regardless, as he'll be looking to move next season. Anyway.
The thing is, I think he wants that 100 club, doesn't he? That's the thing. He wants to join that 100 club.
Well, he won't get that if we're relegated.
No, and that is the issue. And you know, we spoke last week about the management of him under Nuno has not been great, and but he's somebody that we desperately need to keep. Somerville is another one.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Scott. Did Wilson start his career out at Coventry? Am I thinking of someone else? Let me have a quick look at that. Because
you might be right. Do you know what? When you're saying that, it might just be me, but that sounds familiar. That sounds like you might be right.
And the thing is, I think
like those clubs will pick him up.
He did. He started out at Coventry, so they're back in the Premier League.
Yeah, clubs like that will go in for him. Will definitely go, and that's the issue. Is a lot of these players, you know, we got a good core group of youngsters. That's the positive, right? We keep them. That's good. Our back line is probably gone. You know, the youth will be gone. Wan-Bissaka.
I'll be honest. Peters, maybe. I'll be honest with the youth going. I wouldn't be too sad to see him go.
I know that, but I think we said this last week. I said if anyone's going to go, I think like even if we stay out when Juve goes, he's not someone that's hard to replace. No, you know what I mean, you can go out and get another decent left back.
You probably go and find a better defender.
Yeah, we got Skulls and that like it'll be down there. But the problem is our centre backs. I think they all go. You know, I think they all go. Kilman's on massive money
because of the money that they're on. This is the issue.
Tadibo, Kilman, Mavrop. Obviously, Disarcy goes back to Chelsea anyway. But this is the other issue that they touched on, right? Is the fact of we're going to sell all these players, right? But what we bring in now. When we went down last time, we was in a little bit of a stronger position where we could bring in like the Kevin Nolans and get him to step down and keep some of the top players. But what money we're actually going to have to spend versus other clubs that we're competing with in the Championship isn't going to be great. So when we're trying to sign 3 flipping centre-backs, and then we've got to replace all of these players with players, not just Championship players, but Championship players that are good enough to challenge for promotion.
I think we're quite lucky as well that we've got such a good sort of core of young players at the football club that I think could step up in the Championship. You think of the likes of Freddie Potts, who went out and he got Player of the Season at Portsmouth and Wickham when he was playing for them, and there's been other youngsters that have gone out. So I'm not saying we're just relying on them to get us back up, but there'll be a good core there. And then it's about bringing
a whole new front line and back line.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're already talking like it's done. And
but this is the thing is if what would happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The thing for me is that normally as a Premier League club dropping out of the Premier League into the Championship, you're in a stronger position than those below you, right? I think personally, we're dropping in to the Premier League, and I think a majority of the Championship will be financially better off than what we are. Yeah, I know we're going to have that parachute payment of like 49 million or whatever it is, but I think Burnley and Wolves go down in a better position financially and probably squad of players that they're going to be able to keep and compete in the Championship than what we do. So then you look at the teams that are not going to make it, the Wrexhams, the teams like that, the teams that are going to drop out of
Southampton or whoever.
Yeah,
don't go up.
They're probably going to be in a better position than us to push for the top 3. I know. Look, we're getting a bit lucky because we're dropping down. Okay, if we drop down into the Championship, it's 8 teams vying for promotion. So we've got a stronger chance.
They've extended it, haven't they?
Yeah, they've added 2 playoff places. So, you've got more of a chance to get there. But as I said, if you're then looking at losing 8 regular first-team players, your manager's probably going to go as well. Because he's not going to stick around in the Championship because he thinks he's better than the Championship.
Well, no, I think that's part of his clause, Scott. I think if we go down, he hasn't got a deal. I think that was
he hasn't got a deal. But if we wanted to keep him, he wouldn't sign a new deal.
I think what's said on that podcast again from the dealings that the guys had with his agent, that there would have been some discussions where the opportunity is that if the club don't want to keep him, he can go, and if he doesn't want to stay, he can go. If you get what I mean.
If they both want to continue, they can continue. And the belief is that Nuno would not stay. That's the belief is from the agent and stuff, that he'll be trying to push him to a club in the Premier League. You know what I mean? Because Nuno, he said he was on something like £7-8 million a year. Like, so for a Championship manager, like no Championship manager is anywhere near that. So that would be, listen to me. If Man United don't keep Carrick, I'll be all over that. Like all over that. Even if Nuno did want to stay, I don't know about you, right? But Carrick is someone.
I mean, I was having
knows the league.
I was having this discussion earlier with someone, and I think that Michael Carrick would be a great choice if he was available. But I think there's only one man that club will go for. This man who's just been sacked last week, and that'll be Scott Parker. That's the way I see it.
The problem is
Scott Parker. The thing is with Scott Parker, he's brilliant at getting teams out of the Championship, but then he ain't good at keeping them up. So we'll be in that position of we'll get up. But I remember when we played Burnley at home this season, and I remember sitting in the stand and looked across, and I see Scott Parker on that touchline in his suit, and I said to Nick, who was next to me, I said, like, I can see him being West Ham manager one day. He's just got the look. And look, Scott Parker was a hero for us. I know he went to Tottenham, but yeah, I mean, it would be a good fit. But look, Carrick would be brilliant. But I think there'll be not bigger club, but better opportunities.
Bigger job. Yeah. Well, that's it. It depends for us. I mean, going into the summer, for Carrick, this is all if Man United don't keep him. A lot of Man United fans saying we shouldn't keep him, right?
Can I tell you what Carrick could go to? I think if he leaves Man United, I think he'll be perfect for Newcastle if they get rid of Eddie Howe.
I think I think you're right, but I think Newcastle going from Eddie Howe, they're going to go for a name. I think they're going to try and go for a big name in the summer. Like they went with that type of manager with Howe, and I think they've been desperate to try and. So I think they're going to go. So if he don't go, like I said, the stars have to align. But I also like this chat, Craig Bellamy.
Well, the thing is with Bellamy, we mentioned him before, and he's someone I said I'd like to see at the club, but I think he wants to carry on managing Wales. Yeah. So it'll be difficult to get him out of his contract there. But yeah, look, anyone that has got a bit of passion, anyone that knows the club will do for me. But I mean, look, Wales ain't in the World Cup. They got knocked out, but you got the what is it? The conference, not the Conference League. What do they call it? The fucking Nations League. And obviously you got the qualifiers for the Euro. So maybe he wants another shot at that because Wales done really well under him, and they just lost in the playoffs. But
if Howe was to go, I would be all over Howe as well. Because the thing is, what I want, and the thing is, I'm happy with Parker as a manager in the Championship, but I want someone that if they can get us up, we can stick with them and build something for the long term, and not just to get us out of the championship, the manager, and then we've got to go through a season with him as the manager, and when things get rocky, we have to sack him and then start again. I want someone that we can rebuild with, and I think someone like Howe is, or a Carrick, managers that you could do that with if we could get them. We're going to have to. Joe drives me mad is now. Look, we're not manager that we can go for now if we go down, but Iraola is linked with Palace. Like, there's a lot of talk that Palace will get Iraola after getting Glasner. And it's like, why can Palace get these caliber of managers? How can they attract them? But we can't. We can never get the ambitious manager.
I think he turned them down, didn't he? I think they've offered him. I think they've approached him twice now, but I think he's turned them down. I think he's holding out for a job in Spain.
To be honest, but there's rumours Glasner's going to stay at Palace. So
that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, he's a legend at that football club. If they win that Conference League, that's three trophies. Well, FA Cup, Charity Shield, and
that's the thing. I said my mate at work, Tony. He's a massive Palace fan, season ticket holder. And he turned around and said the rumours coming out of the club that he may stay at the end of the season, especially if they win the trophy.
That would be mad, considering how bad things were between him and the fans and the ownership. Shout out to Dad's Our Job TV, £5 super chat. Interesting developments tonight, lads. General feeling is relegation plan in place after Brentford, but a takeover is on the cards in the summer. Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of talk about Amanda Stevely potentially taking over or investing. Now, Amanda Stevely, as many may know, she was heavily involved in the Man City takeover and heavily involved in the Newcastle takeover. Now, there was initially reports saying that for her to do it, West Ham would have to be a Premier League club, and now reports are coming out that actually that relegation wouldn't be a barrier. It would actually cheapen, make the club cheaper, but it would be, a lot more of a gamble, because we're going to be more of a fixer-upper thing. Yeah. So it's going to take more work, but it doesn't necessarily mean that takeover won't happen now. That would be the dream. What she's done for those two clubs, and, I'm not going to discuss the moral implication of Saudi ownership or Qatar. We can sit here and
you can't say nothing about it because you put petrol in your car. So all this crap going on around Newcastle, not one person sits there and protests not to put petrol in their car because it comes from Saudi Arabia. So at the end of the day, listen, people that want to protest about what goes on in other people's countries is other people's business. It's nothing to do with us. And that's how that's what it is. So as it ain't happening here, that's all that matters. But don't throw stones at glass houses when you put petrol in a car, when you fly on an aeroplane, when you go on a boat, when you ride a motorbike or anything like that, because that is, you sit there and watch the boxing, you're putting money into these people's pockets. So don't sit there and say, "Oh, we don't want to Saudi ownership taking over Newcastle." Get on with it.
Yeah, we've literally the person that we have in charge, mate. And look, there's no point in comparing evil bastards, but what all that is for me to say was, look, I know people are going to do that, we don't want this, but just put that to a side. Let's just look at the football. What she's done for those clubs and those fans, and the turnaround from where they were, Man City being a club that was in League Two, battled relegation, all of that sort of stuff. Newcastle with Mike Ashley, relegated, in the Championship, coming up struggling, and they believe they've had nights that we could only dream of, it would give us hope, because you think, if we got someone like that with that sort of money, but someone that seems to care, imagine what they could do with the stadium situation and all of that. Like, it would just, it would be a dream. So that would be the dream if she can save us from Sullivan and Kretinsky, because Kretinsky, mate, that they talked on the podcast about, do you think Kretinsky would potentially do a full takeover? And then they said maybe not next season, but the season after. I do not want that man. Listen, anyone but Sullivan. So I would prefer him over Sullivan, but I just don't think he's the right man for the job. He seems to be two peas of a pod in a way.
The thing is, he might be the right sort of person working alongside someone else. So, yeah, I mean, look, I just think whoever comes in, I think it's going to lift the fan base because we know that the final one's left. So, and it's just whatever league we're in, I think it will be a boost for everyone. So, I think there's going to be
That's what we need.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of talk over the summer and the next few weeks, and obviously we don't know what's happening with our current owner, and yeah, it's just as I said earlier, mate, it's just a shit time, to be supporting this football club because everything just seems to be going wrong. And we haven't even spoke about any of the football yet, but even last weekend, it just seemed everything was against us. The Brentford game, it wasn't even a 3-0 game, Yeah. And then people talk about sort of corruption and things like that. You look at the Villa game, it stunk of corruption because there was Villa didn't even look like they wanted to be on the pitch. No, they weren't putting tackles in. Their manager, someone said to me earlier, did you notice their manager last Sunday? He usually is animated on the touchline. He was just standing there with his hand in his pocket. Didn't care. Yeah. But look, we can't blame Aston Villa for not winning because if we was in their position, we probably would have rested players for a semi-final. So
the thing is, for me, the problem wasn't them resting the players. Like you can rest, and I expected it. I didn't have a problem. It was what I saw on the pitch. Right?
Yeah.
Is you can rotate. Palace rotated against us, and look, we would look at that as a terrible point, and that's really kicked us in the box because they still were there for their taking. But at least it felt like Palace were trying to give us a game. You weren't getting peak Palace, but they weren't making it easy for us. They weren't rolling over like Villa did. Like that was my problem. Is just the players and the lack of effort. They just rolled over.
I watched the Villa game last night, and if they would have put a quarter of that effort in last week, they probably would have got a result.
Yep. Yeah. That's the thing. But we can't sit there and blame Villa for the position that we're in.
No. We can't blame one. We can't blame one result. It's a 38-game season.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We've been shit for a long time. I know we've picked up over the last 10 games, but let's not forget what happened in the beginning, in the middle of the season. We were shit. Yeah. So we're only here because of our own downfall.
Yeah. Oh, it goes back to that Palace game because that, like I said, they were there for the taking, but we weren't brave enough, and we approached it like we were happy for a point, and that's the problem. And is when we looked at it, we came away, and there was and I'm not blaming fans or anything, but there was a feeling from some people, and that's why I think maybe there was a feeling from the manager that it's a good point, and we can also do hindsight, but now it's not a good point because you look at that and you think.
Yeah, Dan, as we said though, it's a good point if you then went on to beat Brentford.
Yeah,
this is the thing. That is a good point away from home if you beat Brentford. If we had beat Palace and then drew with Brentford away from home, it's probably a good point. But when you go and lose 3-0,
we did beat Everton in between them games, Scott.
Yeah,
don't forget.
But you got to win. You got to win those games when games are there for the taking like that.
Yep.
Like you got to, and look, we can talk. Villa were nowhere near as good as what Palace were, but Palace still weren't great. But at least Spurs went, these ain't at it. Let's fucking take the game to them. Let's go for it. Like we didn't do that. We played cautiously, and we didn't take the game and go all out like Spurs.
That was the big thing, Dan. When you look back at that Palace game, we didn't press. All the games leading up to that Palace game, we were pressing high. We were at them from the start. We didn't do that against them. And that's the thing. And this is what I say. That then comes back down onto the manager.
The good thing for us this weekend is that on Monday night, Tottenham will be playing a fucking wounded Leeds side who want to finish the season on a high after losing the FA Cup semi-final. So I'm sure Leeds are going to put in a much better performance than what Aston Villa did last week. So we've got to hope that, we didn't want to be in this position, but, relying on other teams. But we've been doing this all season. Whenever we have an opportunity to pull away or get ourselves clear, we don't take it. And eventually you're going to run out of them opportunities. Yeah. And we've gone into the bottom three with 3 games to go. Look, we're 1 point behind. There's 9 to play for. I'm not saying we're going to win 3 out of 3, but it's football. You never know. You never know.
I think for any chance of us staying up, we need 7 points out of the next 3 games. Any chance of us staying up?
Yeah,
Well, I think 6. I think 6 could potentially do it. I think 6 could do it.
But you can't. The problem is that 6. If you're looking at Newcastle and Leeds as that 6, you can't be drubbed by Arsenal. You've got to have a hard fought loss. Not.
Well, I know what you're saying, Scott. Is mentality all of that thing?
Yeah.
But when I look at the Arsenal, like goal difference means fuck all.
Goal difference. Our goal difference is like we're a minus point to everybody.
That ship has sailed, right?
Yeah.
So in a way, we might as well try to win the Arsenal game. Now, if we lose 3-0 or whatever, I know it's going to be a psychological thing, but maybe we'll be the wounded animal. But for us, I think there's a chance. Like when I look at Chelsea and Everton, like as bad as Chelsea are now, right? We'll see if this new manager can turn it around. But it's a tough place for them to go, and Everton are going to be fighting for Europe last game of the season.
The only thing
there's a chance.
The only thing that worries me about the Chelsea game is they play the FA Cup final 3 days before.
Yep.
And that's the only thing that worries me.
They do a Villa, we're fucked.
Yeah.
But it's the thing. The thing is, Dan, is that is it. You know, Chelsea have a good record against Spurs. It's always a lively game, but you know,
I think Spurs
come a couple of days after the final.
You know, say Spurs. I think it's 4 points Spurs could get in their last 3. So if we get 6, we're safe.
Yeah.
The pint glasses, we're going to try to do it, Shane. By the way, your shirt is on its way. I've been a bit ill this week, so apologies for the delay. I finally got Shane's address, so that is going to be on its way. So apologies, Shane, but we will be sending these. This one is just one my brother made, and it was a test one, but it is nice. So I'm going to find a way to get these made, because the problem is with these ones, why we couldn't say it, is they were coming from America. So they took a bit of time and they cost a little bit more money, and I need somewhere that makes them in this country. But yeah, it is all. Do you know what I wanted to quickly touch before we move on to Arsenal, talk more relegation? Was just we haven't got a sporting director. They talked about wanting the sporting director in, right, to run the club, and a permanent CEO. We've got the temporary CEO, which is Karim Viriani, but that puts us at a disadvantage in prepping for the for the championship, in prepping for our who's coming in, who's going, how we're going to get these sales, what we're going to do. We ain't got someone doing that. Now, this Karim Viriani, he apparently is a West Ham fan, but he's an interim CEO. Already, I like the cut of his jib. You know, he knocked that fucking Ray Parlour bollocks on its head. Ray Parlour being in the Ray Parlour was going to be in the lounge for the Arsenal. You know, you get an ex-West Ham player.
Yep.
In the lounge, in the thing. Yeah, the stadium for the games.
Yeah, he was doing Club London.
Club London, yeah. So you're a West Ham fan, you get in Club London, and it's like, well, let's meet an Arsenal legend at the West Ham Arsenal game. So he's coming as a West Ham fan. I think he worked for #United. But he put a stop to that. So that's a nice little win for him. And we'll see what he can do. But because he's interim, there's no sense of permanency. Like, that's my worries. We're already behind everyone else going into this season because we haven't got the personnel. We've literally lost all the executives. All the executives quit. So we're going in.
The rat's leaving a sinking ship, mate. That's what happened.
Yeah. So we're going into next season with none of these positions. And so we're playing catch up to everyone in the championship and the other teams that are getting relegated. So that is my other worry. And like I said, you've got someone like this, and hopefully Karim could do a good job and help us. But because he's not going to be there next season, potentially, he's an interim. You know, nothing's set in stone with that. So he can't really be making permanent long-term change. He's making these little changes like, right, we'll stop the Ray Parlour stuff, we'll do the stuff now. But in terms of planning for next season, he can't really make them calls because he's an interim and we haven't got the sporting director. So that's my worry, is we're also playing catch up. And then like how much money we got to spend to go and hire all this personnel, and how can we attract the best in class? Like,
well, that's the other key component of staying up and going down, isn't it? Is what we've got to to spend on backroom staff, that type of thing, you know, in the sense of a sporting director and that type of thing. And the thing is, I think if we go down and you're looking at Nuno leaving, you know, and you look at somebody like Eddie Howe or someone like that, you've then got to recruit around people that are going to work well with the manager that you're looking to bring in. You know, with Eddie Howe, he's a decent coach. You know, Redknapp spoke highly of him years ago when he was at Bournemouth and stuff like that. So if you're looking and he does lose the job at Newcastle and you think you can attract him, then you've got to look at, right, we need a sporting director that can work with Eddie Howe, or, you know, and vice versa, so that they're all pulling in the same. What we don't need is the situation we had when we brought in Stuyton and Moyes, where you had Moyes wanting to pull in one direction, Stuyton wanting to pull in the other direction, and then Sullivan's pulling them his way. Yeah. You know, we can't afford to have that, where we have these situations where players are brought in by the manager, players are brought in by the sporting director, players are brought in by the chairman. We need people.
The problem is with that, Scott, is we had a manager, right? Moyes was a football manager, right?
Yep.
We tried to turn him into a head coach when he was already a manager, right?
Yeah.
So for Moyes,
which doesn't work. Yeah,
he's been hired as a manager. Now we're trying to change his job role, bring someone else in. So you're getting a clash. So we kind of need to sort out the sporting director first, and then someone's coming in knows the structure, and we're hiring for, you know, what you're working on.
Yeah, but if you're looking at that, right, and this is all a lot of ifs and buts, because it's if Eddie Howe gets the boot from Newcastle, if we get relegated. To be honest, even if we stay up, I'd get rid of Nuno personally, but that won't happen if we do stay up. But you're looking at it, I think you need to be looking at, this is what we said with the club doesn't have a long-term plan. Yeah, you've got to be looking, right, this is what we're going to go for. If we're going to go down the route of we're bringing in a sporting director, we need to look at managers or head coaches who work well with a sporting director. I think the key thing that in the podcast that they said was, when you look at Arsenal, the way Arsenal was before to how they run now. They run so much better now than they were before.
The structure is everything.
Exactly. You know, when we look at, we've said this many occasions on doing this show, you know, you look at the Brightons, you look at Bournemouth, and the way they run their football club, they've got a plan. They've got a layout. This is how we want to play football. This is the investment we want to put in the players. So we're going to hire managers that work with that structure. You know, as you said, I think personally the manager is control of everything, because that's what managers are. But modern day football is a sporting director, and then you have a head coach, you know, which I don't agree with, because I think it takes too much power away from the man who's essentially in charge of the team.
I agree with you, Scott. Like, the thing is, you go back years ago, managers used to run the club from top to bottom.
Yep.
You know, they had the final say on everything. And I always believed that even with signings, I think managers should always have the final say. Now they're just basically hired just to take the training and pick a team on a match day. Yeah. Like, they're not involved in any transfers anymore. They're just given players. And that's why, like, I think football's changed, and now it's everyone's sort of like, it's fashionable to have a sporting director because it looks good and sounds good. Like, sometimes you don't need all these sporting directors, especially if they don't get on. Like, if they don't like the manager, for me, the manager should have the final say on everything at that football club. But it shouldn't be chuck players and give them players and say, you got to work with them. All right, look, some managers that haven't got a choice, but you look at the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson, and even when you look at Alan Kirbishley when he was at Charlton, he run that football club, run it from top to bottom. Everything went through him. Same as Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, all these top managers. But now they are, as you said, that's why David Moyes in the end fell out with David Moyes. And I know that, look, David Moyes done great for us. I know some people didn't like him, but you've only got to look what he's doing at Everton now, and it's very similar to what he's done with us. So he's not a bad manager. It's just we didn't like his style of play. But ever since he's gone, we've had Lopetegui ball, Potter ball, and Nuno ball. And I think they're fucking worse than when we was under Moyes, if I'm being honest. So we've gone 3 steps backwards under these last three managers.
The thing is with the director of football, right, is I think you need a director of football that will, like we said, work with a manager and not just dictate and we're going to pick everything. But the thing is, why I think we need something like that, and a lot of people need it, is because, right, like Sullivan and Kretinsky are not football men, right?
No.
We need a football man running the football side. So when it comes to picking who the manager is and choosing when to sack a manager and place him another manager, that needs to be a football man. And when it comes to working with a manager and saying, because we've had Sullivan, like when we've not had directors of football, we still have Sullivan going out and going, is this player, is that player, you got to work with that. So if we're going to have that anyway, which we've had, because Sullivan this is a Sullivan sign, you know, you're going to get this player, we should have a football man involved in that conversation, and not someone like Sullivan who is a porno man, right, picking players. And that's the problem. You get a lot of owners want to have a say. We need that
job role that you just said there. As soon as you were saying that, the first person that fucking popped into my head that they should have given that job to years ago is Sir Trevor Brooking. Because not only does he know the football club, love the football club, but he's done a lot of work behind the scenes for the FA. He's been involved in a lot of stuff in football that no one knows about, you know, and he would have been perfect for that role. Absolutely perfect for that role.
And that's it. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, you know, you said, we've seen it with Sullivan again. You know, that La Madrid, it's a Sullivan signing. You know, it's a player that we could take a little punt. Nice little South American lad, looks quite good. Scored a few goals in some league that no one's ever watched unless you don't live in that country. And
we've never had a manager under them, Scott, that just makes all decisions, signs all the players.
And this is the thing. And you said Allardyce has done it, and you can see it yourself. We always get this random South American footballer that no one's ever heard of, and you know, we end up paying him money for doing not a lot. You know, and this is the big problem that we've got. There's too many people sitting there in front of a computer trying to play Championship Manager instead of running the business. At the end of the day, I want from the owner's point of perspective, is this is the budget you've got for the year. Go make it work. Because at the end of the day, you work for any company, they have a set budget that they've got to use for the year to make it work. Yeah, okay, you have contingency money stashed that if you need to use it and stuff like that, fair enough. But the owner's involvement should be, right, this is the budget. I'm employing you as a director of football to go out there and run this football club. So run the football club. You know, and like Ryan said,
and the thing is, the reason why I think you kind of need that director of football, and in modern day football, why you can't say have the manager run everything, because the turnover of managers is so high in the league these days. Whereas before, you could have a manager be there for a few seasons, have a shit season, build and build and build. Now, like you sign a manager. Look at Lopetegui. Look at Potter. Look how long they were there. They weren't even there a year. So you give that manager all free reign. We gave Lopetegui Kilman. We just give him Kilman, and look what that's done to us. So say Lopetegui gets to run everything and do everything. Then we sack him 6 months later. Then we bring in Potter, and then we get him to do everything, start from scratch. Then you sack him 6 months later. That's why you need that consistent.
Can I tell you the difference between now and then? Back then, there wasn't social media, so they didn't get pressure. If managers done bad, they just got on with it. Social media now, they put so much pressure on these owners and clubs.
Yeah,
that's why they sack managers.
Yeah,
that's why most of them do, because they want to please the crowds. But back then, if a manager lost 5 games in a row, we went. How many times you look back? I probably can't remember off the top of my head, but they'll probably relegation battles under Eric Redknapp and all that. How many times did you hear fans go, "Oh, let's get him out. Let's get him out. We want him out." You know what I mean? It's a different game now, and social media is a big part of fucking what football clubs do, and
and that's the thing.
And the thing is, the money side of things, relegation now, like staying in the Premier League, has become the be all and end all. Whereas you could get relegated, and it wouldn't be the financial disaster it is today because of the money in football. So because there's so much money in football, clubs will sack someone if they think they're in danger of going down and they're not staying up. So that becomes the be all and end all. Whereas back in the day, like it weren't, especially where, you know, maybe if you was a fucking Man United or an Arsenal, and you're looking at getting relegated, yeah. But for the rest of us, it wasn't as much of this death sentence as it is today, you know. So that's another reason. Shout out to Shane.
Go on, mate, go on.
So I'll quickly read this, Scott, and I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah.
Shout out Shane, 499 super chat. Cheers, mate. I was a big advocate for Moyes to be gone only if we got a progressive manager, but instead we replaced Moyes with the same kind of defensive manager. It's so Sullivan.
Yeah, and this is the thing as well. Like, I agree with Shane, what Shane's saying there, because I think at the point when Moyes went, I think we all wanted him to go. I think even Moyes wanted to go. So, but then we never went out. And what do? We do what we usually do. We replace them with people that are out of work, and they're out of work for a reason, because they're shit. You know, you think they're going to come in and do a job, but if they was that good, they're already being employed. So that's all we do. We never ever go out and look how much money we've wasted on players over the last few years. Instead of going out and getting a top manager and saying, "Yeah, we'll get you out your contract. We want you at this football club." You know, yeah, it's fucking.
But that's the thing. That is the key point. You know, is that this be careful what you wish for brigade. When we got rid of Moyes, don't sit there and say, yes, we won the Conference League. Moyes should have gone. And look, I sit back and said what I said back then, that we should keep him because he won the trophy.
He deserved to stay, but it doesn't mean it was necessarily the right.
And that was the thing. At the end of the day, he needed to be replaced. He allowed the squad to age. He allowed the squad to dwindle in size because he only wanted to work with a small crop of players. You know, he done a fantastic job stats-wise. You know, he gave us one of our best living memories of being a West Ham fan for us anyway, you know, and, you know, I'll eternally be grateful for that. You know, I've seen West Ham win a trophy, you know, he is a legend, but he was unfortunately part of the reason we're in this situation that we're in because of the age of the squad, the players that we sort of lost and we had the smaller squad. And like you said, when it was him going and we wanted him out, it was because we wanted to progress to a more forward-thinking manager. And all we did was replace
backwards
for like. Yeah,
that's it.
We just went from Moyes ball to Moyes ball with three worse managers. And I still today, you know, I knew Potter was always a bad fit. I said that from the outset. I was unsold on Nuno when Nuno first started. He just
imagine we replaced him with Glasner, Scott. Imagine if we replaced him with Glasner and we got him instead of Palace. Where we think.
Yeah, and this is the thing. You know, you look at what someone like Glasner's done on the budget that Crystal Palace have. You know, this is the thing. This is where having a plan in place of how you want to progress your football club in the modern day game works. You know, there's no plan, and this is the biggest issue. And it's mad that we sit here and you look over probably the past 5-6 seasons. We've roughly said the same thing over and over and over at different times. There's no plan in this football club.
Do you think Brendan Rodgers would have been too good? Would have been good for us, Scott?
I don't think so. I think he's had his day. I think that's why he went to Celtic.
I think with Rodgers, you get a good couple of seasons out of him. Tend to. So I think in the short term, it could have been a good transition to someone better. But look, we never know.
I don't think he was that much better, Dan. I'll be honest with you. I don't think. You know,
he won the FA Cup with Leicester.
Yeah, he did. You know, and that's it. But he didn't. You know, where is he now?
But no, but that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. Like
he went up north, he went to Celtic in, you know, the league up there, which we know is not great. You know, now where is he playing? You know,
he was there though before Leicester, though, Scott. He did go there. He went from Celtic to Leicester, and then obviously he went back there. But that's what I'm saying is that time in the short term, I think so. But let's talk about the Arsenal game. Before we do it, because we will get into that. Because we could spend all night talking about how fucking shit of a run club we are. Before we get into that, do check out OK Jersey. Scan the QR code, visit the link there. 10% discount. Use code Nicky10. You get all your shirts. Now Ryan's one is made by OK Jerseys. It is a thing of beauty, but it's being sold through E13 events, so you can go and get that there.
I got picked up the shirt today. it's unreal. The quality of this shirt. It's the home one's nice, but this one is takes it for me. I think it's a beautiful shirt. So yeah, if you want one, get in touch with Ian at E13 Events or DM us and we'll put you in contact with Ian.
Yeah.
So
and then Scott's one is directly from OK Jersey. Thing of Beauty, always associated with Tony Cotty. That one is
do you know what? I've got my original one of them.
Nice.
Still fit, yeah. Yeah. They were fucking big in the 90s, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Listen, I'll be honest. I think out of all the shirts we've got from OK Jerseys, there's never been a problem with any of them. You know, they're all top quality. The England top I was wearing the other week, that's probably one of the best shirts that I've got.
You ain't done your JD Sports Direct comparison yet, Scott?
No, that's to the new shirt.
What one was you wearing?
Oh, you got the
what one was it?
You just said it's the best one you've ever worn.
No, the shirt, the feel of the shirt. It's the best shirt. I can't tell you what date it was from, but it's the England shirt I had on a couple of weeks ago. Go back and have a look. But that quality was.
Oh yeah,
it weren't the booking one, was it?
The one with you had the one with the St. George
Red Cross.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the 07 shirt. I think
it might be that. That is one of the best quality shirts I've ever worn.
Yeah, because I've got the Red Admiral one, England one, the Trevor Brooking England one, and that's quality.
Yeah,
that's a quality shirt.
Yeah. No, they are. Like I said, I've got this one is a special edition Japan shirt. Someone asked me if I got Japanese heritage. No, this is actually a special edition based on my favorite one of my favorite manga series all time, One Piece. So see the guy with the sword, the flames there. It's an Adidas. This is a player edition, so you get the fan editions and you get the player ones, which are the fit is a bit different, and it's the material's a little bit more premium and stuff like that. This is a player, so it's nothing to do with me repping Japan. I've got a Japanese top I bought when I was in Japan for my birthday for the World Cup. And I thought, I'm here, it's a country I'm in, so I have got that, but I'm not trying to claim Japanese heritage. But
isn't it funny when you do that on holiday? Because when I was in Mexico, I bought myself a Mexico shirt, and it was like a limited edition one. And guess who had it on the back? Alvarez. But the number 4 is in like the Mexican skulls. I'll have to show. I'll bring it on next week's show. I'll show you. It's such a nice shirt, and I bought it, and I thought, oh, love it, Alvarez, and then we fucking loaned him out. So hopefully he might be back next season.
If people don't like this one, right, wait till they see the other one I've got coming with the character on the front, because I've got another one of these special edition Japanese shirts. You think this is Larry, mate? Oh, I can't wait for you to see.
I'm looking forward to the next set of shirts coming.
Yeah, once Nikki is back from holiday today. Nicky's back from holiday today, but obviously he's got to unpack and all of that stuff. So, hopefully we'll get our shirts off him soon. You never know with Nick. Shout out to Roy May Jr. I've got a friend, Roy May Jr. Hope retired life is treating you well from all your service.
Yeah. Looking at that, Dan, retired life is treating him well.
Yeah, he's looking sharp, looking very sharp. Thanks for the $25 super chat. Became a fan when we were in the championship, and now here we are. I'd rather be relegated than a Tottenham fan. That's a good point. Closed 1.8 million properties this week. So beers on me. Chin up, boys. At least we're not spuds. Come on, you irons. You are Roy, a stereotypical Texans tycoon. He should be in Dallas. He should be. What was his name? JR, whatever.
Yeah.
JBL, Texas tycoon. We always appreciate you, Roy, and glad to hear you're doing well, mate. Deserve it. Always, obviously, our West Ham family smashing it. At least someone likes it. At least someone says it. Right? You get that. Some people say it's the worst thing they've ever seen, and it's hurting their eyes. Someone said that to turn down their brightness.
Do you know what? I bought a shirt. I'll have to bring it on next week, right? I bought a shirt the other day, an England shirt off of Vinted, right? It was brand new. Someone bought it from Turkey, right? And I thought it was only like 15 quid. I thought, fuck it, I'm going to buy it because it looked the bollocks. Honestly, it's one of the most random England shirts I've ever seen, but it is the bollocks. So it's a black England shirt,
Yeah.
but it's got like red roses over it. But in the background, it's got the 1966 World Cup team and Bobby Moore and all that. But it's such a fucking unique shirt. I thought, do you know what? I'll buy it. If it's shit, I won't wear it. But it's such a nice shirt. I'll bring it on next week and I'll show you
thought
it.
Larry shirts like were the thing. Do you remember like people look back fondly at the 90s kits, right? And how Larry they were. And like especially the goalkeepers kits. You gotta love a Larry shirt. You can't beat it. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I mean, I think a lot of clubs now are starting to do like 90s design. I think even England's goalkeeper kit for the World Cup is like a bit of a 90s retro throwback shirt. So
everyone's in the chat is debating my shirt. Anyone that was saying should be on the leave it out, Joe.
We got to get Nicky to show that England shirt that he had. Remember that photo he sent, that England shirt he got?
Yeah, that was Larry.
I think that was his original shirt though before he lost weight. Even they were his pants.
Do you know what that picture Nicky put in was just, you know what, when you actually see the weight like at what he was like, he's like a different person.
Oh, he is.
It's
crazy, isn't it?
He just looks like he's just been caught in the forest doing something he shouldn't be.
Yeah, what's he got that toy gun for?
And has he got a fag in his hand?
He's got a fag in one hand and a toy gun in the other. That is, bloody hell. He looks like,
though, right? Honestly, when you look back at when we started all this, started the channel, you look at Graham, how big Graham used to be.
Yeah,
Graham. It was mental.
I've just gone up and down over the years. That's been me, up and down. You know,
I'm the same, mate. I go up and down, but I'm at that age now where I think, fuck it. I'm actually looking forward to going on holiday in August and getting me fucking gut out.
that's the English way, right? That's what you're supposed to do.
You know, like when you think, like want to look my best going on, that bollocks. I'm just at that age now, Scott, where I can't be bothered. I've done all that in me teens and me 20s and even me early 30s. Saying that, the best time when I turned 30, that was the best shape I've ever been in, and all I was doing was two 2-hour boxing sessions a week. I was still eating. I was eating all right, but still ate crap, drunk. But now, fucking hell, no chance now.
Yeah, no, it gets harder as you get older. That's for sure. Yeah, 100%. People are like, why does Nicky look like that? I don't know why he looked like that. It just ate too much. But yeah, let's quickly Arsenal at home on Sunday. I've been talking to some Arsenal fans. Obviously, I had Nuno and Cecil on the channel this week. If you ain't seen that, you can go see that. And they're super, super confident. Now, on the West Ham perspective, I've seen a lot of West Ham fans that are confident, that feels like, you know what, like just because it's just based on feeling, not based on evidence. And I look at it and I can see it, although I wouldn't say I'm confident. This game is huge, and it's such a shame that, you know, we're going into this game now playing against first in the league, because it is that important. Spurs, and I did thought I starred it. It was a Spurs fan. I can't remember if it was Art or it might have been one of the other Spurs fans said was or Day. It might have been Day Spurs that said the players that they're missing. Leeds are missing a few players on Monday. So the fact that that's happening, like, we have to go into this game assuming that Spurs are going to win. Spurs are going to win.
Spurs are going to win. Spurs are going to win. So there's no two questions about it. Spurs are going to beat Leeds. Right. We need to. There's no two ways about it. Spurs are going to beat Leeds. Right. So we need to make sure we win on Sunday.
What makes you feel so confident, though, Scott, that they will? Because let's be honest, they beat a poor Wolves team 1-0, and they beat a half-assed Aston Villa team. They're shit at home.
Half-assed is generous. I think it was
that is. I was being generous there. And they're shit at home. So I wouldn't say that they're guaranteed and to beat Leeds. I mean,
what are Leeds playing for?
Huh?
What are Leeds playing for? Their season's done.
Yeah, but they're footballers. They want to win games. They want to go there and upset
Yeah.
Tottenham, don't they?
It's not always a given because we've played teams that have nothing to
unfortunately, I think the momentum's with Spurs, and that's what I really do.
I mean,
I think,
Newcastle ain't got nothing to play for, have they?
Whatever Spurs do, we just got to make sure we do our job. I mean,
I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. I think that we need to concentrate on winning our 3 games at least, or getting 7 points, and pray that Nottingham Forest slip up now.
The thing,
mate, are you crazy?
The thing is, like, you got 2 teams on Sunday. You got Arsenal going for the league. You got us fighting for survival. You got 2 teams going toe to toe. Both need the 3 points. It's just going to who wants it more. Listen, on paper, yes, they've got better players than us. They've got better players than us. Of course they have. But that's not saying that we ain't got players that can win us a game. Look, you look at our result. You know, we're unbeaten in our last 6 at home. We drew with Man City at home not long ago. You know, drew with Man United. You know, so if West Ham was ever going to get a result, it would be so West Ham to turn up and get a win on Sunday. But I'll be honest, I can't see it. I can't. It's going to be tough. But as Dan said earlier, goal difference doesn't matter no more. If we go toe-to-toe with them, I'd rather lose 6-0 us going for it than fucking sitting back and losing 2-0. Just fucking go for it.
I'm with you, mate. I am with you with that. We've got to have a go at them. We can't afford to sit back, because we sit back and sit back and sit back and they go 1-0 up and then we're chasing the game. We can't afford to be chasing the game. We need to be in the ascendancy from the outset. You know, I think someone said it in the comments earlier, if we had played Arsenal 3 weeks ago, I would have given us more of a chance.
Got a feeling, though, if I'm honest, I've got a feeling we might see Tadibo come back in and a back 3. I think we might go as a back 5. I think Wan-Bissaka comes in.
Yep.
Diouf obviously on the left. I think we play them high up, but then they drop in when we need them. And then maybe someone like Pablo drops out of the team. And I can see us, because Nuno will try to keep it 0-0 as long as possible and then try to nick a goal on a set piece. That's what we're going to do. But
against one of the best set piece teams in the Premier League.
We cannot play like we did at the Emirates. We cannot go in with that game plan of just sit back, give them all of the time, all of the ball, right, and try and soak it up and hope we eventually find our way down the other end of the pitch to get something. What I want to see, as much as I despise Graham Potter and I think he's a terrible manager, I want to see a carbon copy of the game we had at the Emirates last season under Potter. We have to do that, because we didn't go gung-ho toe-to-toe. We were defensive. We sort of sat back. But what we did was we pressed. We put tackles in. We suffocated them. We won second balls. And we counter-attacked, right, as soon as we got the ball. So the idea was win that ball and then get up the other end of the pitch straight away and cause them problems. And we got a goal through that. You know, Bowen scored.
Yeah,
we have to play like that.
If you play for a draw, you're going to lose. Play for a win, you get a result.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right there, right? I think that's bang on point. You know, and use this is, I can't believe I'm saying this, but use your substitutes wisely, because I know what he's like. And when you're playing on the counter, use players with pace. You know, don't be sitting there bringing on a Magassa and a Potts in this game. You know, look at bringing on a Traoré and a Kante, players that have got energy, players that are going to run. You know, that's no disrespect to Potts and Magassa, but you need players. I can't believe I'm sitting here saying this about Traoré, but you need players like that.
Do you think he might have a chance of starting on Sunday? I think Pablo has to be dropped. I think he has to be dropped.
Yeah, again, we were discussing this the other day with, as I said when we was on post-match pint, that the problem is that your best striker at the football club is Callum Wilson, and you don't build the team around your best striker. You've built a team around 2 centre forwards who are not known for their prowess in front of goal to benefit your 2 wide players who bring you goals. You know, and it was working with Somerville until he got injured, and unfortunately, with Bowen, as I said, he's got that ability to turn the game in an instant. But overall, when you look at his performances of late, barring the 2 assists that he got against Everton, he's been pretty off the boil. So if your 2 main people that you're playing these 2 strikers to benefit are not working, you need a plan B. And unfortunately, again, we've got a manager that doesn't seem to have a plan B.
I agree
with what some people say.
I agree with what some people are saying in the chat about the goalkeeper situation. I think it's time to bring Areola in for the last 3 games. I think Hermansen, for me now, looks, I don't know. Look, he ain't done too bad. But I think just something needs to change. Just change it up and just see what happens. Because these next 3 games are going to... I mean, look, I'm lucky I've still got hair, but I'm sure I'll start losing it over the next few weeks if fucking the way this season's gone. But let's
having a shot stopper like Ariel, because we've seen him in big games like this where we're facing a lot of shots. Ariel has pulled out some heroics, and he's he's got us through games like this. So I wouldn't be against it at all.
You know what? If there's any game that we need our captain to stand up and do something, it's this game. And he don't mind a game against Arsenal, does he? You know, Somerville, we need these players just to give everything, because I'm sure as fans that are going to be there in the stadium and all the fans watching on the telly, if they go toe-to-toe with Arsenal and lose, I think we'll all just say, do you know what, fair play, they give it a go. If they sit back and invite Arsenal on, it could be, well, last season was 5-2. The season before that was 6-0. But I don't know, did any of you see... Did any of you see Declan Rice's interview after the game the other day?
No.
Yeah, I heard some of the quotes. I saw some of the quotes.
Well, he said that he just said basically like he wouldn't be where he is without West Ham. He's got a lot of love for the club, a lot of people at the club. But he said, "Look, I play for Arsenal. It's a game we want to win. West Ham want to win. May the best team win." So it must be look. I know he's an Arsenal player, but he loves this football club, and there must be a lot of emotions on that day for him. But he's going to go out. If he's got to score the winner for Arsenal, he's going to have to do it. I mean, I'll be honest with you now. I would take Fernandes going through him in the first minute and him limping off and not playing the game. It don't bother me.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't mind Rice. I like Declan Rice, but he's an Arsenal player now. So I want my players to get stuck in and fucking get him out of the game.
Yeah, exactly that, mate. Exactly that. And that's how you look at it. At the end of the day, it's us versus them. You know, all the respect that you've got for him, but you know that we've all got for him for when he was playing for us goes out the window as soon as he sets foot on that pitch. You know, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, West Ham. Shout out to Lewis, by the way, $5 Australian super chat. Evening, boys. Just woke up for my early shift. The boys have to win this game as it marks the 10th anniversary of leaving Upton Park. That's poetic.
It also marks the day 46 years ago that we beat Arsenal in the FA Cup final on the 10th of May. So how good would it be on the 13th minute if Bowen scores a diving header like Trevor Brooking did, and then we can just see it out 1-0, and that will feel like winning the FA Cup.
He scored a diving header against them last season as well, Bowen. So it'd be huge. So like for us, I look at it. I think you go into them players and you put a few tackles on them, right? Because a lot of them are going to be thinking, I don't want to get injured for the Champions League final. You know, have them have that in their mind, and just take the game to them. That's what I want to see. If we do that and we lose, I can forgive it, like you guys said. But I can't forgive if we just go passive and sit back and invite them on wave after wave after wave. I need to see some fight in this game. And like people have said, it is so important. Look, if we come out of a draw and Spurs win, it's not great because we'll still be behind. But in terms of morale, like we'll think, fucking hell, that's massive. And that takes us into Newcastle. I don't know. I can't agree with you, Scott, on Forest and putting Forest in it, because I think 6 points with 3 games to go, that's a massive hill to climb, like for us with the goal difference. Because don't forget, it's not 6 points, because if they lose all their games and we win 2, we still go down.
Yeah,
you know what I
of
mean?
course, of course.
We'd have to effectively get 7 points and hope they get 0.
Yeah.
So
I think a
we
big
might as well
factor
forget
for
about
us. Yeah, but I think a big factor for us is that result in the Man City Brentford game on Saturday evening. I think
our goal difference was starting to get better.
Yeah, but I think with that City and Brentford game, I think if City don't win that, we have more of a chance of beating Arsenal.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah, because they'll be more feel like it's wrapped up.
Not only that, they'll want to wrap it up. That's the problem. It's a catch-22. They'll want to wrap it up, but like you said,
the thing is as well, Scott,
they have got a Champions League final to think of.
If City win, it puts more pressure on Arsenal to win.
Yeah,
and that's when mistakes happen, because the longer the game goes on, and the more we frustrate them. So it could work in our favour as well. But I'm looking for. Well, I'm not looking forward to the game, if I'm honest. But I just, sitting there watching it is going to be a long 90 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's it. And then whatever happens, we have to wait a whole 24 hours or more than 24 hours for the Spurs game. So whatever happens, we're not going to completely know our fate, because if we lose and Spurs win, I think it's effectively done. Really.
If we don't win on Sunday and Spurs win, that's it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. No matter how you look at it, because like you said, that goal difference comes into play.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because we would need 5 for them to get 0.
And the thing is, if we go down on goal difference, or if we go down by a point, you're going to look back across the whole of the season and think, we could have picked up points there. Why didn't we pick up points there? What about when Nuno threw them 3 games away at the beginning? It's just fucking. I just look. Yeah. All we got to do now is hope the gods of West Ham and football fucking look down on us, shine bright down on us, and just let everything just go our way. Because look, last weekend was a big. We could have been sitting here now talking about a 5-point gap, and then thinking, you know what, if we lose to Arsenal, it's not the worst, but we're not in that position no more, and that's only our fault. It's our fault. We had a big opportunity.
Yep, I said this last week on Post Match Pint, mate. When it's all said and done, and we look back, we know the problems at the top, but we're in this position because of the manager that we've got. At the end of the day, he threw 2 games away in his first 2 games of the season, 2 winnable games as well. He's thrown 3 points away against Bournemouth. He threw 3 points away against Chelsea. And that's the ones I can remember offhand. He's probably done much more than that with poor in-game management. And, we'll see by the end of the season if I was right to call him a fraud when I called him a fraud.
Well, this was the biggest fraudulent thing he did, was play Souček and Irving in a midfield together twice.
And this is the thing. And as I said to you the other week, I said the other week, Dan, he was winning me over, but I only see changes in the way we are since Paquetá left the club, and he brought the new guy in and the coaching staff.
Yeah, and he'll be gone. If he's done a good job, and he'll be gone if we go down.
Brian was saying on the show that the improvement in Mavropanos, and people were saying that Mavropanos, I think, has had a good season. Even from the start of the season, he was playing a lot better than the player that he was last season. He has Disasi coming in has been a big, massive thing, and that's a player Nuno brought in, and great, and it goes to show that he has got an eye for a player, but he's also.
I think ultimately Nuno, he's improved us from Potter, right? From what we was from Potter. Shout out to Forest Fan TV for the raid, by the way. But from what we was for Potter, he's done really well for the most part, but he's made unforced errors that have cost us massive points. And that's the big glaring thing. If we weren't in a relegation battle, you would look at it and think, do you know what? Good start, made some mistakes, build for next season. But the thing is, the mistakes are massively detrimental where we are. And the thing is, with Nuno, people think like, because I see some people say he took over a mess and where we were, when we were a mess, but he took over in September. And this is what I think it was Brian I said that to. Like, he did take over in September. That's a lot of time. We're lucky he did take over in September, because imagine he started experimenting in January like that. By the way, I'm gutted for I really wanted Forest to win and beat Villa and teach him a lesson. So I feel I did tune into Forest Fan TV and see poor Wolfie in absolute despair. Condolences there, but I really wanted you to beat him. Hopefully Villa don't win the final, because I've got a vendetta against them now after that. Vendetta for life for throwing that game.
The annoying thing is that Villa didn't obviously get the memo that the whole Premier League wants Spurs to go down apart from Spurs.
Yeah. The thing is, I think Villa played this game of, do you know what? Let's lose to Spurs to put pressure on Forest, so Forest have to play their strongest 11 against Chelsea. Forest didn't play their strongest 11 against Chelsea, but still smashed them because they put in effort. And if them Villa reserves, I tell you what, that Ross Barkley needs to retire for a start. Get him gone. He needs to retire. That Jadon Sancho has got to be one of the biggest piles of shit, most overrated player I've ever seen. The fact that he was, and I know you watch England more than anyone, right? But he was seen as one of this big hope for England. He is fucking awful. He really is.
No, he hasn't had a great time. I mean, when he was out in Germany, that's because he was at Man City as a youngster, and he went out to Dortmund, and then that's why Man United paid big money for him, and it just hasn't worked out for him. Like he's obviously got talent, but he's just wrong club, wrong time.
I'd probably not even
would have suited us.
Wrong league. Again,
yeah, he's not built for this.
That's what it boils down to. It's not doesn't discredit a player. Just some players are not suited to the Premier League.
Yeah, it's not like he ever pulled up trees for, and we ain't used that saying in a while on here. We ain't used that. He's not pulled up trees for England. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's just, he runs it over there in Germany. It suits him there. But mate, when I watched it, I thought, what an awful, awful player. And like I said, same with Ross Barkley. The fact that he's still playing for a Premier League team is criminal. I don't think you get in the Championship team. Get him to Spurs. Yeah, that's it. They'll be perfect there. Is there a chance we can transfer?
You summed it up well, Dan, when you said that Forest played with effort.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Yeah, effort.
And that's it. They put the effort in against Chelsea's side that we were 2-0 up against, and then decided to not put any effort in.
Well, the thing is with Forest as well, they had players planned to start in the semi-final, didn't they? So, I watched that game against Chelsea.
The Villa team would have wanted to do that. You think they would have tried to play their way into the team? That's what I thought. Like the Forest were, and I'm just gutted that Forest didn't 4-0. Morgan Gibbs-White did miss it, and see the state of his face. Gibbs-White, do you see what at Chelsea? I mean, the geezer, I feel really sorry for him. He's got stitches all over his face. He's swollen. He's got 2 black eyes. I mean, I didn't actually see what had happened to him. It was something in the Chelsea game. But my God, like the state.
It was a horror, like clash of heads, and I think you could actually see like his skull. That's how like open the wound was. But he's been unreal, especially the last few weeks, and he's could have played himself into that England squad for the World Cup. Been brilliant.
Yeah, gutted, man.
But the thing is that is what Forest needed, didn't they? They needed a talisman. They needed someone to step up and take the mantle to get them out of the position that they're in. And Gibbs-White did that. You
look at Aston Villa last night. John McGinn for them. You know, that's what Forest needed last night, and it's unfortunate that they lost him and he didn't feature last night. But look, whatever happens, it's still a good run for Nottingham Forest. You know, their fans have had some great memories from this season in Europe, and that's what it's all about. And that's what I miss about Europe. This is what I said to my mate who supports Crystal Palace in work when they went to the Conference League. I said, mate, you're going to have the best time. You're going to enjoy it because you can potentially win this. And now they're in the final. And let's be honest, they probably will win it. So,
and that's it. And the thing is with Forest, like luckily for them, they get to go again next season. They get to pick themselves up. They get to rebuild. They've got themselves out of the situation. Listen, whatever you say about Marinakis, right, and I was clowning them with all the, I think, 4 managers in one season. Like, I wish we had an owner like that because, yeah, okay, maybe he interferes too much, but he does whatever he needs to do for his guy. He will do what he has to do to get the result. And if they stay up, he's vindicated because he looked at one man. Well, Nuno, obviously, what happened with Nuno was behind the scenes stuff, but he got rid of Edu, who he brought in, was causing the problems. He didn't hesitate. Got rid of Ange, didn't hesitate. That weren't working. Sean Dyche, not working, get him out, and he just kept, he didn't go, oh, I don't like to pay managers out their contracts, oh, money. He was like, nah, we need to stay up. And listen, as much as we don't like to see these high turnover managers, I respect that he loves the club and he has the passion to try. And that's what we miss.
To be fair, I'm surprised he didn't sack their manager last night, the way with his track record. I think he wanted that Europa League, didn't he, being in the final. So, yeah.
That'd be massive. But still, to get to a semi-final and they were unlucky with the draw.
Huge for Forest. It's just a shame that they had to play each other in the semi-finals. It'd have been one hell of a final, wouldn't it?
Do you know what? And I don't want to wind up with the Forest fans, but there was a great meme, and it was, I think it was a Palace fan. They put a picture of Marinakis on a phone and said, "Can we have our Conference League place back?" Like, because the mad thing is, they probably would have won that. Like, if they would finish the Conference League.
Yeah, not being funny, like the Europa League's a lot easier to win now than it was back when we were in it. You know, without the Champions League's drop down and things like that.
Still harder than to draw Villa.
Yeah, you know still, I mean? Yeah, but when they were making that, like when they were kicking up that fuss of wanting to, I'm thinking, Forest the way they'd win that Europa League. You know, Palace should win that Conference League. You know, I don't get why they wanted out of it. Do you know what I mean? They had much more chance of winning the Conference League than they ever did in the Europa League. And, you know, they've done good to get to the position that they've got, but they had a better chance to win the Conference League. And like you said, Dan, they probably would have won the Conference League.
Yeah. That's the mad thing, you know. So, but that's the beauty of having the Conference League. It does mean that, you know, it gives teams like us, Forest, Palace, you know, all these teams an opportunity. So you think, fuck, if we can just get to 7th, maybe 8th, depending on how everything rolls up, we got a great chance. And yeah, looking at it, unfortunately, it looks like Villa will win the Europa League, and Palace will win the Conference League. You know, and mate, if it would have been that piss week, the Europa League when we was in it both times, we probably would have won that. We would have won it. I have no doubt about it. We would have won that.
Yeah.
I think so well, mate, fucking infuriating. Shout out to Shane. No, super chat. Thank you much, Shane. We was 19th when we got Nuno on the 27th of September. It's now the 8th of May, and we're 18th. Gone up one whole league position and still in the relegation.
Progression. It's progression.
Yeah. It's taken us from we had that little purple patch for a few games. See that, and that is the thing, you know, like he hasn't had that impact because he did. Like, I don't know why a manager will come in. When you sack a manager, and it still was September, I know it, but when you sack a manager and you have got problems, you come in, don't start fucking about and experimenting like it's pre-season. Just do the basics. Right. We're gonna put what I can see is our best team. He saw us beat his team 3-0. And instead of going and going on, if he only ever watched West Ham once, right, and there's that day, all he had to do was come out, put that fucking team out, your first game and the second game. Don't start sticking all of this fucking experiments, putting Ollie Scholes right back, and I think he put Wan-Bissaka or Carl Walker-Peters left back.
Peters left back. And
Carl Walker-Peters was like left wing back, Scholes was right wing back or something.
I ain't going to have this experimenting crap, right? He come in, he worked with them players because it was international break. He worked with them players and went, I'm just going to play you lot. You know, there is no rhyme or reason why any manager would think that a midfield of Souček, Rodriguez, or Irvine would work well, and playing a left back, right back, and a right back, left back when your young left back hadn't fully established himself as left back at that season. You're putting him on the right. And you go back and watch them games and how many times Scholes drifts inside. He was hung out to dry by Nuno in them games.
And he did it again. That's
exactly.
the worst
This is
thing.
the thing.
Fucking did it again.
You know, and that's not sitting there going, "Oh yeah, I'm experimenting." That ain't experimenting. You're just proving that you're not as good as you think you are.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's it, mate. That's the most egregious. That Leeds game, mate. When that lineup came out, we were all like, "What the fuck is this? Like, how has he done it again?" I've never been so
And
bad.
the thing that annoys me, mate, is if he had actually gone for the team that finished that game, we probably would have gone on and won that.
Yeah, and then we'd probably be in a better position.
And to be fair, mate, the only reason we changed it is because Ollie Scars got injured.
Yeah, fucking stupid. That's what I'm saying. That's why he can't sit here and go, "Well, it's not my problem." But yeah, Millwall are winning at the moment in the playoff semi-final.
Good for them. Don't give a monkeys about what Millwall are doing.
Really well. Do you not? I honestly think for them to come up and us go down,
it's just one of them things. Yeah, do you know the people that would be happy if that happens? The Metropolitan Police.
Yeah, they would.
If we go down and they come up. Millwall, don't get me wrong. We'll hate it, but the Metropolitan Police would be breathing a massive sigh of relief that we ain't in the same league with each other.
Of course. It would just be enough.
They'll have Chelsea and Tottenham.
Yeah, but they ain't got to police the London Stadium, mate. That's the thing, isn't it? You know, imagine trying to police that.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah. Listen,
I don't think they'd have Millwall fans at the London Stadium.
No. I just look. I get the rivalry with Millwall. I understand the rivalry with Millwall and all that, right? I totally get it, but we haven't had a proper football rivalry with Millwall since we were last in the Championship. I think,
that's what I allude to when I talk about rivals, Scott. Is because Millwall are our rivals. When we play them, it is heated. It is a proper rivalry. This rivalry we have with Tottenham is a London rival. It's because it's another London club and we just don't like them. They don't like us.
Well, I think it goes back to some of the 80s, doesn't it? Like the hooliganism and stuff like that. I think a lot of it
West Ham and Millwall go back to its history. It's the Dockers. It's the
Dockers.
Yeah. That's what I mean. There's so much hatred in that. But I know a lot of Millwall fans. I get on with my mates who are Millwall fans. And they're just like us. You know what I mean? But when it comes to that match day, that's it. You know what I mean? It's I would like to see us play Millwall. Like to see it in the Premier League. I like to see us fucking stay up if they do go up.
Yeah.
If we do go down, I'd like to see it. I would like to see it because it'll be a proper fucking game of football.
No, that's it. Listen. I think for them to go up and us go down would just be another embarrassment on the club. I remember last time we got relegated, and they was flying a plane over Upton Park. Yeah, was it Avram Grant, Millwall legend? Is that what it said? Yeah.
They stuffed us in the Championship as well, didn't they?
What's that?
Mate, I've done that. I've done that night with Colton Cole last week, and fucking the stories he's got on Avram Grant. No wonder we struggled that season. Fucking the geezer he said he's one of the best blokes. He said if you wanted to go out and have a drink with someone, Avram Grant's your man. He's a nice fella, but as a football manager,
I think you can go and watch it on our channel. There's I think some of them stories told on the interview on the channel. You can type in West Ham Fan TV Cole. And go see some of them. So yeah, look, it's not looking great right now, but it's always darkest before the dawn, right? We've got 3 massive games. We're not the favourites to stay up, but football is a funny old game, and there's a lot of twists and turns in these last 3 games. It's not over till it's over. I feel like we will go down. I lean towards that, but I'm not throwing in the towel yet. I'm not ready to give up. I think there's still a chance we stay up, right? But it all starts on Sunday.
Dan, do you think, right, if we don't win Sunday, is that it?
I think if we don't win Sunday and Spurs don't win, I don't think. In fact, for 2 games, for our 2 games, their 2 games, I would fancy us. In fact, like if Spurs lose and we lose, I would be a little bit more optimistic, right? But if we was to drop points. If we was to put a draw and they win, it puts the gap to 3, and it makes it. It has to be. This is the problem. It all depends on what Spurs win. It's not Spurs do. It's not in our hands anymore. Do you know what I mean? It can't be just win our games. So yeah. I think we need to try and win and assume they're going to win. But yeah, like let's get the score predictions then.
You remember sitting here all them weeks and saying we've still got 20 odd games, and now we've literally got 270 minutes of football left. Fucking mad.
This is what I was trying when he was going like when we'd lose a game, and I'd be like, that was such a like a Forest or a Wolves, and I was like, that was such an important game to win. That was a must-win game. But we got all these games to win, but we got to win the fucking games that are in front of us and the games that we should be winning. Because then when you go to a Liverpool or an Arsenal, you're not going to be expecting to win that. There has to be a point where you say, just fucking win. Like a loss, a draw, points not good enough. And we're running out of games. And that's what it goes back to. You know, time's running out. And it doesn't matter that it's Arsenal. It doesn't matter that they're top of the league. It doesn't matter that Champions League finalists. All that matters is we're fighting for survival. We're fighting for our lives. We're fighting for people's jobs. You know,
the thing is people's jobs. People behind the scene, it's their jobs that are on the line.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, Scott. There's a few people at our club I wouldn't want to see made fucking redundant. So,
unfortunately, there's going to be people that don't fucking deserve it. And the people that do deserve to lose their job are the ones that fucking keep them.
Yep.
I mean, look, my head says 3-1 Arsenal. My heart says 2-1 West Ham. It's what do I go with more?
Go with that. Come on.
Yeah, I'll leave it as that because I think it could be one of them games where we might go 1-0 up early from a corner or something, a little Souček header, and then we score too early, and then Arsenal settle and just hit us, and I think we'll lose. Yeah. But yeah, I just want to go on my heart and just say, come on, Bowen at the double, 2-1 win. Come on, you Irons.
Listen, can we do it? Yes, we've done it before. We've pulled a result out of nowhere. Do I think we'll do it? Probably not. But you got to be optimistic. So I'm going to 1-0 win.
Well, I'm going to be on the fence. I'm going to go score, draw, 1-1. You know, like we did fantastically well going 1-0 down to Man City to come and get a snatch a point off of that. Great defensive display. We've been good at home. I have to say that we was terrible at home before Nuno coming, and that's one thing he's done. He's turned our home form around. So coming off the back of that,
I see a stat earlier that we've lost 5 London derbies at home. If we lose against Arsenal, that'd be the first time in history that teams lost all 6 London derbies at home in a season.
We can't be making history.
Nah, we need to just get one win.
Yeah, just one. And it's there. And like I said, I think if there's 2 things. If Man City win, then they're going to feel more pressure. If Man City lose, you know, I've even speak to Arsenal fans like, if Man City lose, then fuck it, throw the game. Like we don't care because it puts such a buffer there that, and the fixtures that they've got left, Burnley and Palace, Arsenal, like they can afford to lose this game. So it all depends. There's a lot of twists and turns. So yeah, I say 1-1. It's going to be another stressful watch as the Spurs game is. Just get me to Tuesday. I just want to get to Tuesday and just know where we are. I want to get to the end of the season, really. I was comfortable, you know, after we lost to Forest. I was miserable, but I was like, I'd accepted relegation. I'd made peace with it. Like, we're going down, right? And now we had that hope.
That's what's done it, isn't it? After Forest, we were all like, yeah, we're done. We're down. Let's finish. And then we had a bit of turn in form and picked up some results. And it was that, yeah, we got a chance now. We got a chance. We get out of the bottom 3. Yeah, we got a chance. And then
I'd rather be in our position now than what Wolves are. At least we've got something to
play for,
and we just got to hope that we pull off the result. But yeah, let's see what mood we're in on the reaction on Sunday.
Yes, yeah. Hopefully it's a fucking good, because if we win that game, mate, whatever, I'll be fucking buzzing, mate. I'll be buzzing. So please, but yeah, listen, good show. Like, look, we ended it on optimistic note. It started on a downer, but I like to think we ended it on a high. So let's hope our season goes the same way. So listen, thank you all so much for watching. All the super chats, all the normal chats, the members. All of you, thank you so much. We will be back on Sunday. Gonna have to watch along the instant match reaction and the fan cams. Also look out tomorrow for the extra time show with Big Dave and Marshy and that. So go and give that a watch. Jace is 50-50 at the watch along. He's not 100% sure, so he might be at the watch along, but because we lost the jinx thing is out the window because he weren't there for Brentford and we lost anyway. So we're going to give him a chance. So if he can turn up, but yeah, so like I said, lots to go and watch. Go check out the preview I did with Cecil and Guna Lee from AFTV. It's on the channel. And yeah, lads.
Oh, just quickly,
hopefully...
I forgot to mention, sorry, mate, just quickly jumping now. We've got another night at the Brewdog on the 28th of May. Boys of 86 night. We've got Alan Devonshire and Mark Ward there. Tickets are on sale now. They're selling quick. So, yeah, the link will be on our Instagram and Twitter. Or just, if you haven't got Twitter or whatever, just get in contact with us and we'll send you the link, or pop into the Brewdog to get a ticket. So, yeah, that's the 28th of May. That's the Thursday after the season ends. So, fucking hope it's going to be a happy night. But listen, with West Ham fans, win or lose on the booze, we always have a good fucking time. So it'll be a good night, and we can remember a historic season instead of this shit one with the boys of 86.
That's it. When things are shit, you got your memories of the good times, or if you weren't there, the stories of the good times. I will be doing a hate watch on Lawless Live for the Spurs game. Hopefully it's a lot more enjoyable than the last one. Post a link in the chat, Daniel.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do it now. 2 seconds, mate. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, you mean for what Ryan's talking about, the E13? Is that what you're talking about, Joe? But yeah, so check out Lawless Live for the hate.
No, it's not E13. It's our event.
Oh, Brewdog. What is it called? Is it called it? Is it something events?
No, it's just West Ham. It's just Brewdog night, isn't it? It's not.
Oh, the Brewdog night. Yeah. So you got the link there, mate, for the chat.
Do you know what? I'm sure I've been blocked by our own channel, because every time I post, it comes up.
Ryan must have Nicky must have blocked you. Nicky just goes on blocking sprees.
I commented on something, and then when I looked, it wasn't there.
Yeah, you know, Nicky, sometimes he'll block someone, he'll block the wrong person in the chat because he just goes on blocking people. So, but yeah, just check. If you follow us on the social medias, right, on Instagram or Twitter and that, you'll find it, right? So, follow us on social media. I think you need to be a mod for links. Oh, we need to make Ryan a mod. Here, Ryan, post a normal chat in the chat. Just post something normal, right?
No, I did. I posted it in our chat, and there's nothing.
No, post it without a link. Just post a normal word, and then I'll see if I can make you a mod. Just post whatever, like hello or irons or something, without a link.
Yeah, I just did.
Oh, and nothing. Yeah. Nicky blocked you. Is Scott coming back? Yeah, I think we'll have him back. I think we'll have him back on, Scott. I hope you. I hope so. I've
only been missing a couple of weeks, but thanks, yeah, I'm back.
I didn't know he went. It's also on the Brewdog Upminster website. There you go. Yeah. So you can get it on the Brewdog Upminster website. So go check it out there. Or, like I said, follow us on Instagram or Twitter or any of those socials. And we will be promoting it. Lovely jubbly. Ban Nicky, right? And it'd be like when me and Nicky was taking each other out of the fucking chat.
Oh no, it's working now.
He's in. Look, Ryan's in.
It's working now. Bollocks.
All right, let me make you a mod.
Oh fucking hell!
so you don't have any problems in future.
Terrible behaviour. I might mute Nicky next time he's on, like you did, Dan.
Oh, you ho. Oh, bloody hell. Look at this. A Spurs fan called up TalkSport and said he wants West Ham to win on Sunday.
Surely he don't mean that. I'll tell you what, right?
Unless he's so confident they win all their games.
Speaking of Spurs fans, I've got to admit, what a good bit of banter that was this week when they got that booking reference of that Arsenal fans' hotel and cancelled his fucking room.
Mate, you reckon being that geezer.
180 quid he paid for it a few weeks ago, and then he had to go back and pay over, I think it was like 1,800 quid.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That's what you get. You be a fucking idiot and post a booking reference. I know, no sympathy. Learn a lesson there. He wants to get on there and be like, because that was his whole thing. I always believed. Look at me, everyone. I believed that we would get there, so I booked it. You just wanted the clout. You wanted the adulation. Sit there and go, look at me, and then you was a fucking idiot. And so you get what you deserve, mate. Sorry, that's going to cost him over $1,000.
If I do look back at this season at highlights, I have to say that muting Nicky video was probably one of my favourite. It was just funny. It's just the way he was fucking going on, but he didn't realise he was muted.
Mate, I wish I could let him go on a bit longer, but we were laughing, and that because I was laughing, he decided to take me out. Yeah, he took me out of the thing, the video, and then I took him out and added myself back in, and yeah, that was something. So listen, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Let's just try to not stress and be anxious over Sunday, right? Let's just keep our mind off it, enjoy ourselves, and whatever will be. Okay, Sarah.
That's it.
Thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, join us on Sunday. Look out on Saturday for extra time, all that good stuff. And one thing left to say. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.